should change you. It should rearrange some things in you that keeps you from saying, or keep you from what? Going back to the way things what used to be. If it wasn't good back then, what make you think? If it didn't fulfill you back then, what make you think it's going to fulfill you now? If it didn't get it done back then, what makes you think it's going to do it what now? That's why in the narrative today, in the sermon today, we're gonna talk about someone who truly exemplifies, I won't go back. Yeah, because God's presence changed her. That's why we say you have to have faith in God. Whatever situation is going on in your life, it is truly a direct proportion in your relationship with the Lord. Now, I'm not talking about naming and claiming type stuff. I'm just talking about getting breakthroughs and being transformed and being renewed. It's really based on your relationship with your faith in what? God. We live in a society that virtually is devoid of faith. We live in a society that most people don't read their Bible. They don't come to Bible study. They don't come to Sunday school. They don't come worship the Lord. So they really don't know much about the Lord, you see, or that he even exists, less known for them to believe in him. So having true faith will help you make sense out of all the crazy stuff that happens in your life and happens in the world. You see, growing in faith requires believing in God and maintaining a close relationship with him. Come just a little closer. You can't have this relationship with the Lord by occasionally flirting with the Lord. You can't just have a one-night stand with the Lord. You can't just have an affair with the Lord. You got to be married to the Lord. You got to have a relationship. Turn me up. You got to have a relationship with the Lord that's soaked in prayer, soaked in studying God's word. Then you will see different things manifest in your personal life. You can't just do God when you feel like it. You got to do God all the time, and all the time God will do you. You didn't catch that, did you? You didn't catch that. Oh yeah, you didn't catch that. You got to do the Lord. And the Lord will truly just come just a little closer. Well, you'll get it in the message today. You'll get it. See, we find the people in the narrative, cousin. We find Joshua. We find the spies. We find Rahab. Oh, Rahab. You know, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, when you really read Rahab, it says Rahab the harlot. It's like Rahab the harlot. Like harlot was her last name. You ever notice how they always talk about Rahab the harlot? Rahab the harlot. Like harlot was her last name. Nobody, Keisha back there pregnant, and she don't know whether she can have a boy or girl. I think mama and daddy said y'all know that Monday or something. But I bet you if it's a girl, they may name her Rachel. They may name her Rita. They may name her Rhonda. They may name her Robin. All those are good names. But I bet Rahab ain't gonna make the short list. I bet Rahab is not gonna be on that list. But Rahab is in the story today. Yeah. See, Jericho was the land that God had promised his children. But Jericho was an awful place. Jericho was a place where they would take their children and place them on burnt offerings as a religious ritual. Jericho was a place where men would sleep with prostitutes as a way people practiced their religion. I'm trying to tell you that Jericho was an awful place. Jericho was so awful. As you continue to read in the book of Joshua, you will find out that Joshua curses the city of Jericho, and he says if anybody ever try to rebuild this city, that their firstborn child should be killed. Oh yeah, Jericho. Oh, it was worse than Atlanta. Jericho. It was worse than New York. Jericho. It was worse than New Orleans. Jericho was worse than Vegas. What stays in Vegas happens in Vegas. However y'all say that. I wonder what that means. I always wonder what that means. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What that mean? I just want to understand what does that mean? Take it verbatim. Sin, I know about that. Every city is Sin City. So what you do is different in Vegas. Okay, I'm gonna stick with mine. I'm just trying to figure out what they mean by what stays in Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What do you do different in Vegas that you don't do here? Sin is sin. Oh, unless you must be cross-dressing or something. Maybe that's the type of stuff takes place out there. Because I'm just trying to figure out what's the difference. But here's my proposition for the message. Trusting a faithful God. God is faithful, Keith. He's faithful. Brother Jones, he's faithful. But see, there's a difference between a routine and a relationship. Oh yeah, Heidi. Some people have a routine with God. It's Sunday, so I'll go to church. It's Wednesday, so I'll go to Bible study. It's early in the morning, so I'll read my word for you today. They just have a routine with God. They don't have a See, a relationship is you go when you don't want to go. You give when you don't want to give. You sing when you don't want to sing. You teach when you don't want to teach. You preach when you don't want to preach. You do what you're supposed to do just because you have a relationship with God. And in that relationship with God, when God ticks you off, you don't check out. Oh, yeah. You see, you got to have a true relationship with God, because what I've discovered about God is God will allow things to happen in your life that goes contrary to the very things that you believe. You, based on your relationship with your child, will determine how much you will trust that child. So it is with us. God looks for us to have such a relationship with him that when he allows a bump to happen in the road, you don't get mad. Oh yeah, God wants you to keep your seatbelt on. Oh yeah, God wants you to stay in the car. No matter how crooks and turns it goes, God expects out of the relationship you to trust him. But see, here's the problem. The problem is simply this, that many of us are trying to have faith in God, but our adversary, Satan, is always sticking pinholes. Yeah. See, somebody right now, you don't understand that you're leaking in your faith because Satan very subtly. See, Satan used little small things. The Bible calls about little foxes. see, Satan uses little bitty things to just put a hole in your faith. Right now, somebody, you don't have enough faith in God because you got a leaky faith. Your faith just leaking all over the place. And then watch this. And see, sometimes what Satan does, Elder, what he does, Deacon Hattie, is sometimes he leaves you alone. And you think everything is all right. But the minute life goes to squeezing your tail, it shows that you got a leaky faith, that your faith really ain't in God. It's just leaking all over the place. So that's why the elder said in her prayer that you should expect God to do a miracle in your life. You should expect God to do something different in your life. You shouldn't came in here today not expecting God to work your situation out for you. God, I expect you to plug my leaks that I'm in me. Lord, I don't expect to go back out here the way I came in here. So if you leave this service just like this, then you just had a routine. You had a routine encounter. You didn't have a relational encounter, because you got to understand something, that out of everybody in here that has a relationship with the Lord should say something through something happening in this worship experience that close them leaks up for you. Oh, let me show you. Let me show you in the text. Let me show you. Rahab. Let's look at the text. I'm going to prove it for you here in the text. It says Rahab. Then it goes to verse 9 here. It says, and said to them, I know that the Lord, first of all, you got to understand, Rahab the harlot, Rahab the prostitute. Watch this now. This is Rahab talking. She says, I know that the Lord has given you this land, and that a great fear of you has fallen on us, so that all who live in this country are melting in fear because of you. Don't stop there. Let's read verse 10. She says, this is Rahab talking, we have heard how the Lord dried up the waters of the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did at Sihon and Og, the two kings of the Amorites east of the Jordan, and whom you completely destroyed. Watch this, brothers and sisters. Watch this. Rahab believed in God because she knew what he had done. Every person in here, God has done something in your life, and based on what he has done, it was supposed to elevate your faith for his glory to shine. There is a strong connection between faith and knowledge. We cannot believe in a God who we don't know or even know about. And for our faith to grow, we must know more about him. Say more about him. You must know more about who he is and what he has promised. You can't feel your way to faith. Come just a little closer. You can't feel your way to faith. You have to faith your way to faith. You didn't catch that. You have to faith your way to faith. But faith is certainly more than just knowledge. What Rahab expressed in verses 9 and 10 was common knowledge in Babylon. Common knowledge. It wasn't any special revelation that God just gave Rahab. Everybody had heard about what God had did, dried up the Red Sea. That was common knowledge. And almost all the people, as a result, had what? A great fear had fallen on them. So they all lived in that country. They was in melting fear because they all knew. This is what comes to mind with James' words. The devil also believe in trouble. It's not just enough for you and our brothers and sisters to what? To fear and have what? Trembling. The devil does that. The devil comes to church. The devil preaches. The devil ushers. The devil sings. The devil gives tithes. It's just not enough. But watch this. Here's the whole crux of the thesis, of the proposition of the message. But Rahab's faith doesn't just end with fear. Instead, she concluded, the Lord, here it is right here, here it is, here's the whole message. The Lord, your God, is God in heaven and above the earth and on the earth. What she in essence said was, I'm a Canaanite. I believe and worship idols. What she said was, I know that your God is the one and only true what? God. That's what did it for her right there. That turned the whole tide of the whole situation. Somebody right now, you got to believe that God is bigger than your cancer. God is bigger than your diabetes. God is bigger than your broken marriage. God is bigger than your wayward child. God is bigger than your low bank account. God is bigger than whatever is going on in your life right now. God wants to be supreme over everything. The brothers say he's the supreme bossless. But Rahab, faith didn't just end there. Because of what she knew, she turned away from the idol gods of the Canaanites and believed that God was God. Watch this. Rahab's faith contrasts even with the people of Israel, who from time to time, Deacon Larry, did not trust the Lord. After they witnessed the 10 plagues God poured on the Egyptians, they didn't think that God would save them from the Egyptian army when they were camped by the Red Sea. What I love about faith is the same thing about gravity. It doesn't make a difference who throws this up. the law of gravity is going to make it come back down. Oh, I want you to get this, brothers and sisters. I want you to get this. It doesn't make a difference who throws this up. The law of gravity has to honor it. It has to come down. It can't stay up there. It just can't stay up there. It just won't stay. You can speak in tongues and do everything. It just ain't going to stay up there. The law of gravity won't allow it to stay up there. It must what? The Bible records a lot of times that God honored the faith of those who were not necessarily Jews or Israelites. God just had to honor faith. I don't care how bad you are, and nobody out there, you might have used to try to be a Rahab, but you ain't been no Rahab. But God will honor your faith. No matter where you find yourself at in life, if you use your faith in God, God must what? Honor your faith. All right, then just come just a little closer. The question is, do I really trust the Lord? On a scale of 1 to 10, ask yourself, do I really trust the Lord? Do I really trust the Lord? James points it out this way in his letter in chapter 2, verses 25 through 26. In the same way, not even Rahab the prostitute, watch this, considered righteous for what she did when she gave lodging to the spies and sent them off in a different direction. James goes on to say, as the body without the spirit is dead, so is faith without works is what? Is dead. Rahab demonstrated her faith by how she treated, watch this, the Israelite spies. I want you all to understand something. This is serious business what Rahab did. First of all, she was a harlot. She's a Canaanite. She had a brothel. She had a call agency. She was around the way girl. That's what Rahab was. Yeah, that's what Rahab was. Now watch this. She chooses to believe in the spies and help the spies. Later on in the narrative, the king calls Rahab. Yeah, he does. It wasn't his day to see her, but he calls her. I told my 8:30 service I'm going to write a real commentary for the hood. You don't think the king had never called Rahab? It's his city. It's his city. He the king. And you don't think he ever had Rahab? Okay. Yeah, he knew her personally. He had a number. And so he called Rahab. He said, Hab. Yeah. She said, Hab. He said, Hab. Their problem was FaceTime. The king FaceTime Hab. He said, Hab. She said, King. He said, I heard you got some spies over there. She said, not me. All I got is me. He said, well, if you got them, they say you got some over there because it's FaceTiming. She said, I don't have them. Look at me. I don't have them. He said, all right, Hab, I'll see you Tuesday. Commentary from the hood. You don't think that went down like that? You just think that he just called Rahab because he don't know Rahab and he heard about Rahab. Trust me, he knew Rahab. It was their way of life. So he calls Rahab. Rahab sends the spies out in a different direction? But that ain't the good part yet. You ain't seen the good part yet. Let's look at your spiritual reward. I want you to get this. I want to show you something. See, God rewarded Rahab. God, I can't contain myself with this, man. God, he rewarded Rahab, Trey, by giving her more did she ever ask for. Watch this. Watch this. Not only did he spare her life and the lives of her family members and gave them an inheritance with her people. Go to chapter 6, verse 25, Deacon Dante. But Joshua spared Rahab the prostitute with her family and all who belonged to her, because she hid the men Joshua had sent as spies to Jericho, and she lived amongst the Israelites to this day. Stop right there. I got to give you this part before I give you that part. Watch this. This is what I love about God. Every person in here, you want to find somebody. I gave an analogy earlier, cousin. We come from a big family, and you know how sometimes people, I never was a big fan of this, but as I got older, I kind of understood. Remember, some people would say they was our cousins. They weren't our cousins. They just wanted to be a part of the family. You know, you met people like that. They're not no kin to you, but they say they some kin to you. You know what I mean? You know why they want to belong to you? Because they know you belong to some, and they know when you have some, they can come and get some. Yeah. They just want to be connected to the family because they know you blessed, and when you get blessed, they gonna get blessed. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's so good to be connected to the household of faith, because when one member gets blessed, all members should get blessed. You ain't catching me. You ain't catching me. You ain't catching me. A blessing ain't a blessing if it can't share itself. I just said something. I said a blessing is not a blessing unless it can bless something. You ain't get it. You ain't get it. You ain't get it. You ain't get it. God didn't give you a new car for you to keep both cars. He didn't give you a big house for you to never have nobody over it. He didn't give you a new wardrobe for you to keep the same wardrobe in the house collecting dust and mold. I'm trying to tell you, you ain't blessed unless your blessing can be a blessing to somebody else. That's when you blessed. Oh, that's when you're blessed. The blessing never stops with you. It starts with you. So Rahab, this old harlot, watch this. I'm trying to tell you something. Show you how God works. Watch this. Watch this. You got to get this. Go to Matthew in your mind. Matthew chapter 1, verse 5, Matthew. It tells us Rahab. Oh, man, this is good. This is good. This is good. Rahab the harlot. Rahab the prostitute. Because she believed in God and she helped God's people, she ends up later on in life. Get ready, choir. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Get ready for me. Get ready. Stand up, stand up. She gets so blessed by the Lord, little Lewis, that she marries. She married an Israelite man by the name of Solomon, and they end up being a part of Jesus' genealogy. I'm trying to tell you. When she helped those spies, she was in the presence of the people of the Lord, and I believe Rahab sung this song, I won't go back. Come on. Right now. Today is the day. You see, Rahab didn't let that moment pass her by. Rahab didn't let that moment pass her by. I won't go back. I can't go back to the way. Rahab said, I can't go back the way it used to be. No. The presence changed her. Oh, yeah. I won't go back. Yeah. I can't go back to the way it used to be. Before your presence came and changed me. She said, right now, in this moment, today is the day. Rahab understood when she saw those spies, she recognized who they was with. And let me tell you something, just because Rahab was a hoe didn't mean she wanted to be one. She was waiting on the right moment, the right time to come by so that she could be changed. I'm trying to tell somebody, you don't have to stay in the condition that you are when God is passing by. You just need to get in that moment. You need to get in that moment. You just... Now watch this. Watch this. You know why this fascinates me? Well, okay, harlot means the same thing, so get over it. So let me make sure you understand something. You don't understand the fascinating part of the whole text to me. Show the fascinating part of the whole text to me. It's the fascinating part. It's the fascinating part. Now, Rahab, we know who she was, what she was, right? We know how she earned her living, right? Oh, God help me. You know how Rahab earned her living, right? You know how she earned her living. Kids are in the fellowship hall with Minister Tatum. So all adults in here, right? So y'all know how she earned her living, right? You know how she earned her living, right? You know what she used to earn her living, right? You know what she used to earn her living, right? Yeah, you know how she earned it, right? Okay, you know what she was, right? Yeah. Later on in the text, later on in the story, later on in the narrative, you know how Rahab helped the spies escape, right? You know how Rahab helped the spies escape, right? You know how she helped the spies escape? Hey, let me tell you. You say, tell me, Pastor. Y'all don't really want to know, do you? Tell you. The old saint said that God, He works in mysterious ways. Rahab, take what she used to do. She takes sheets. Oh, y'all ain't with me. She takes sheets. Oh, y'all ain't with me. She take the same sheets that she used for evil and sin, ties them together, and allow God's people to go down on the other side. God has a way of taking your mess and turning it around for His glory. He took those same sheets, metaphorically, and used those sheets. God can take the mess of your life right now and give it a message that will bless the world for His glory. That's what He'll do. Oh, He'll do it. He did it for Ham. He'll do it for you. Oh, yes, He did. Yes, He did. You see, it's the beautiful part. See, that's the beautiful part I love about it. You see, God knows, as practical reward, God knows what you don't know. Yeah. See, God knows what you don't know. See, when God instructed Joshua to tell the spies, Joshua had no idea on what God was going to do. See, here's the beautiful part about it. No one in this room, no one online would have thought that God would have used Rahab. Why He didn't use the sweetest little mother there in Jericho? Why He didn't use the nicest, kindest person in Jericho? No, see, he couldn't use them. He had to use somebody, because one day, 2015, he's getting ready to use a Rahab again. And he needed that Rahab in 2015 to be able to have some confidence in a God that He still uses Rahabs today. He ain't stopped using Rahabs.